Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Dear brothers, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I will demonstrate how to put on the ihram. First of all, the requirement for ihram is simply two pieces of garment, one at the bottom, one at the top. Remember, there is no underwear and there is no undershirt to be worn in the state of ihram. So let me start with the bottom part. So this is the ihram, and I will show you two different ways of doing it. Let's do the first one that I normally do. So let me wrap it around. Now, in order for you not to have constricted walking, what you do is you open up your stance. Completely open up your stance, otherwise you'll have difficulty walking. Now notice how I've got one end just covering the front. Now the bottom that you see, wherever it goes to the bottom, it will stay at that length. If you wanted to raise it higher, you can do it and do so now. And what I've done here is I've gotten this thing almost to my chest. And there is a reason for it. So I've opened stance, brought this thing over here. Now for it not for the edge to hang at the bottom, what I do is I pull this thing up and very tightly I'm going to wrap this thing around, completely around. I will show you the back as to where it is up in the top. Once I do that, I start to fold it. One fold, two fold, and now I've got my ihram on. And you can see my leg is not constricted at all. I can walk easily. That's one way of putting the bottom. It must be that my navel has to be covered because that's required, and it is fairly comfortable walking this way. Now I'm going to show you another way of putting on the ihram. You can do either or. If you are one of those that require a belt, this way that I've done it, I don't need a belt because it is very tight. It will not come off. If you're one of those that requires a belt, then you can still tie your ihram up this high and then put on your belt, tighten it, and then fold the ihram over the belt. Now, another way of putting on the ihram is similar, except it's all based on preference. I will put the ihram onto this side, again my open stance, on here. This is the length I want. If I want lower, this is the length I want. Again, holding this thing, tightening it, bring it till here, perhaps fold it, and then simply fold over front and back. So this is two ways of putting on the bottom. Okay, one more time. The first way that I've done it, and that is the way I normally wear. Open stance, covers just the front. Notice how I'm holding it here. I'll pull it up here so that it doesn't hang, and it's very tight. I'm holding it very tight, pulling it up here, and then start to fold. This is solid. It just won't come off. Okay, now for the top part, what I will do is I will take this thing off. There's more than one way of doing it, and that is if I'm right-handed, left-handed, I'm going to keep one side shorter than the other and simply flip it over like that. Now if I want, I can put on safety pin here or the kilt pin. You can put that on, that will hold. And that's one way of doing it. Okay. Now when you're actually performing tawaf and you have to expose your right shoulder, it is very simple. You do the same thing. You bring this under your arm, and simply flip it over your shoulder, and now you have your right shoulder open and everything else is covered. Again, you can put a pin if you want. The other way that I normally do is I want to have a hands free. I don't want the top part to keep falling all the time. For that, you take equal lengths, and you take one side and tuck it in the bottom completely, and then take the other side and tuck it in on the other side, and now you're covered at the back as well, but your hands free. So that's the two ways of putting on the bottom and two ways of putting on the top. So I hope this is useful. The best thing to do is when you get your ihram to try it until you feel comfortable. Remember to keep your stance open. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.